ladies and gentlemen, it's the Noobtoob Modcast featuring Jam Enslaver, Locke, and Sunflower.
I've been playing Resident Evil 5. Everybody's interested in what I think, so let's party. First, let's figure out who our listeners are. Locke, have you picked up Resident Evil 5?
I have not.
Do you plan on it?
Depending on what you tell me.
Jam, what about you?
Again, no, I have not, depending on what you tell me, but probably even later than that, because I was very late to the party with Resident Evil 4 as well. I'm not a huge fan of the series anyway, so I'm okay to leave it for a while.
I am a big fan of Resident Evil. I've played through most of this game. I've only got one chapter left. So far, what I have found is that this is a very fun, very, very fun, very enjoyable cooperative game. Wonderful. Brings a little bit more tension than Resident Evil 4 did, which is nice because Resident Evil 4 did not have all that much in the way of scary things. However, if you're a huge Resident Evil fan and you're looking for something that stays completely true to the series and is going to make you feel like previous Resident Evil games, this is not it. If you hold Resident Evil in the holiest regard, you will probably be very disappointed in this game as far as the story and the characters and what they've done with that. Stick to the old games if you're a big fan of Umbrella. Other than that, though, I mean, the game's really fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. It's very stressful. It is like a reskinned Resident Evil 4, which a lot of people gathered that from playing the demo. And that's
Is that a bad thing, though?
Well, the thing is, it sounds okay on the surface because you're like, oh, Resident Evil 4, that was a great game. But everything's advanced so far at this point that it really does feel very old-fashioned. I'm juggling items between two people because the game won't let me just swap certain things.
Your pack horse?
It's got a very archaic item management system, and that's really irritating, especially because it's all done in real time and it doesn't pause. So sometimes you can have some real problems if you're trying to pick up some items, and that kind of stinks. But it's a new setting, Africa, which a lot of people were very upset about, saying that there was all sorts of horrible racial imagery in it. If you were one of those people who did feel that there was racial imagery in this game, and that it was, pretty horrible, there's a strong white protagonist beating up, homeless African people or whatever. They're not even all homeless, they're just,
they're just
scraggly
African.
looking. Yeah, they're just scraggly looking. If you're one of those people that felt that way and were just like, oh, this is pretty bad, the imagery's bad, you're gonna hate this game. Because you beat the shit out of a lot of people. It's pretty bad. I don't know, I couldn't help but think about the whole racism argument when it came around to playing the entire game, but, it's still a fun game, but you kinda have to take that kind of thing into consideration, even though that wasn't really their intent. When they created the game. I don't know. Jam?
So, how did you play through it? Were you on your own or were you playing with someone else?
I'm old school Resident Evil, so I played alone.
Okay. Do you have any plans to go through it with someone else?
Yeah, absolutely. I plan on going through it a few times. There's a lot of good unlockables, a lot of things that you get to, work on through subsequent playthroughs. There's, little emblems that you have to shoot. There's 30 of them in the whole game, and I've managed to find a total of 2 so far. There's a lot of stuff to unlock, and then after you beat the game, there is a mercenaries mode with multiple characters that you can choose, and the best of all, you can play it online co-op. And the mercenaries mode, if you haven't played it, it's basically a time attack mode where they give you huge amounts of zombies, or in this case, Magenies, unless you're further on. Magenies.
Do they come out of bottles when you rub it?
They're Magenies. Gives you a pretty much onslaught of them where you have to continue to survive until the time limit runs out. However, you can choose to extend the time if you think that you can continue to survive by finding different time areas around. So, it's a score attack. It's fun. I like Mercenaries mode in Resident Evil 4. I'm really gonna like it in this one because I have played some of it cooperatively. I did some of that yesterday and that was a lot of fun. So, I give the game a thumbs up, but don't go into it expecting something to tie the whole series together because it's a little upsetting.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, how does the story hold up? Does it even count as a Resident Evil game, or is it just...
I say no. I'd say, with the exception of a few things, hell no. They've reused some of the characters from other older Resident Evil games, The story doesn't seem to have any effect on what was going on back in the day. If you like the zombie towns, you're not playing this game because it's not a zombie town game. This is people are angry and upset and there's lots of bugs game.
you're not playing in Raccoon City. I don't see any Wesker, which is...
Wesker's in the game, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in there.
Oh, I didn't see him, okay. I've just seen a lot of people saying that it doesn't really tie in too well, which, I don't know, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but, maybe.
It is and it's not. I wouldn't have minded if this was a different IP from Capcom.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you could call it Africa Bambata 1.
They could have done a lot of different things, but the bottom line is, if you are a big Resident Evil fan, you will be disappointed with the story. And it is mildly disappointing having the game share so much with Resident Evil 4. It makes you wonder why it took them so long to come out with this. The game is gorgeous. It is beautiful. There's no doubt about that. There's some incredible environments, especially in the third area, which is, well, I don't want to talk about it. Some really imaginative bosses. I thought they're really cool, but at the same time, it's too much of it feels like a rehash for me to give it enough credit. I gotta admit. So, it's a great game. It's fun. But,
yeah. I mean, Resident Evil 4 is still held as one of the best games you can play today. I think it got like number 4 in Edge's recent list, so it's still a great game.
You never finished it. Why?
We'll go into that some other time. I think I've explained why I didn't finish Resident Evil 4 before.
Because you thought you were halfway done?
Yeah, and because I was like, I just got bored of it a bit, and then I got onto the second disc and it got a lot harder, and I was like, I will go back and finish it one day, just not right now.
Weak. What about you, Locke? How do you feel? You want to play something like this?
I do. I really want to play it. I wonder if my attitude will change if I didn't have a backlog. Like, I literally have 10 games that I haven't touched, and I feel that I haven't even done, like, Street Fighter justice. I haven't done Dawn of War justice. I've played a lot of it, but hopping into this at $60, I want to, but I can't right now. And I know it's going to be a fun game, a fun experience, but if I'm not going to play it right away, or if I know I can get it for $30 in a couple months, I might as well do that.
Or alternatively, hold out for the Wii HD version in 2011.
Yes, exactly. But I really like Resident Evil. I wanted to ask you, is it scary? Does it do anything for you there? I know Resident Evil isn't known for its like super psychological warfare, but
well, you can pretty much always depend on a Resident Evil game to give you at least one really good jump scare in every single one of their games. At least one. This game has more fear in it than Resident Evil 4 did.
It's more of an anxious fear though. You're like, oh shit, gotta run. Stuff like that.
You're like, man, this is not going to end well. You know, things like that. You'll go down a hallway and you'll see somebody laying at the very end of the hallway. You're like, okay, am I going to shoot them from here? Am I going to walk up to them and let them bite me? Or maybe they're not going to do anything. So that's pretty neat, though. You do get a really cool stun rod that you can buy, which is like just the most awesome beat stick in the world. But that goes towards the racial problems that the game has, making you feel like some sort of policeman beating up the unruly civilians. A lot of people aren't going to feel that from the game. I just want to clarify that because there has been a lot of discussion about this, being a horrible thing. A lot of people are not going to feel this, and it's no doubt in my mind that Capcom did not intend for it to really feel that way, but I think they could have handled the matter a little bit more delicately, to be honest.
Maybe not even talk about it. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I did play some of the Mercenaries mode, online.
Yeah.
Did play it some of it cooperatively, and it was great fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Very stressful. Oh, very stressful because they start you out, since this is a cooperative game, they start you out on this opposite sides of this map. With those bastards trying to get at you, and you gotta meet up if you want to have much of a chance. I like it. If you plan on playing it and beating the game, Mercenaries mode will keep you there for a while.
Nice.
And like I said, there's plenty of unlockable stuff, and I can definitely say, absolutely rent this, probably buy it. Because it is good. It's a very solid game. I do like it.
I'm definitely gonna buy it. It's just whether I'm gonna get it now or later.
Yeah. Like I said, if you're hurting for money, don't buy it. Just rent it for now, because you can get a lot of gameplay out of it in a weekend. So, there you go. So that's Resident Evil 5.